Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Mr. Tobin.
Thank you. Warami, and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you all here today. Acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. Education is highly valued in Aboriginal culture as well. Knowledge meant survival, and our elders are traditionally accorded great respect for their accumulated wisdom and experience. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and clever man of the Burruburungu during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter, Maria, into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. She studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where present-day Blacktown gets its name from. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here tonight. And with good reason. For your progress progresses us all. Your advancement is our advancement. Now, this is perhaps more readily understood in traditional times when camps were smaller and clan groups abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught or brought back got distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortunes were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the whole community, and you in turn are looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we get clever about it. Our Aboriginal ancestors lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to recommend them to yourselves as a benchmark or a model on how good to expect our lives today. So when Captain Cook arrived here, a little south of here 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered there as one of the happiest people he had ever met in the world. They had nothing, he wrote, but the tools that they carried. They were naked. They made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the land without tilling the earth. In traditional times, everyone was accorded rights to the country or clan area where he or she was born into. So there was no homelessness, and no rich and poor either. Everyone had pretty much the same amount of gear, what you could carry. There were no armies or jails or even police. We have no history of slavery or empire building. We were people without kings. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands are maintained in their natural state, rivers clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal, this was normal life for a long, long time. And there's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us now. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've got clever people here. You guys share your skills with us, and together we can probably put together a country that we can be proud of and is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you good people graduate. All right? So congratulations to all of us, and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Yanu.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce the Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, Professor S. Bruce Doughton. Professor Doughton.
Thank you, Chris Tobin, for that welcome to country and for reminding us all of the importance of the heritage and tradition and indeed endowment that your people bring to this, our land of Macquarie University. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and most importantly, our graduands of today, and I include everyone in that welcome. A university is a youthful place, and I would commend all who have young children or babies present to have them stay with us throughout this ceremony. They are very welcome guests amongst us. It is my distinct honour and pleasure to welcome you here today and to preside at this graduation ceremony. I hope it will be a very happy and memorable occasion for everyone present. Today we celebrate the achievements of those of you who are about to graduate. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination, perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. You've worked very hard to get where you are today, and you have every right to be very proud of your accomplishments. We at the university are also very proud of what you have achieved, and so congratulations again to each and every one of you. Today I would also like to especially welcome those who sit behind our graduands as their invited guests. The fact that you are also here is to share one of the great moments of your loved ones' lives, and it is proof positive that you have been a very important influence in their lives. And so, invited guests with us today, my congratulations to you as well, and thank you for celebrating this grand occasion with us. The graduands today may not realise, but you are about to participate in one of the oldest of Europe's social rituals, a graduation ceremony. If one were to pick a date of, say, 1500 AD and look around to see what social institutions existed then and are still in existence today, you would only find about 60 institutions still existing after over 500 years. The Roman Catholic Church, the Parliaments of England, Iceland, and the Isle of Man, and about 6 Swiss cantons of government. All the rest are universities. That's right, there are 50 universities in the world that can trace their history back for 500 years or longer, and some are quite old. And in every one of those 500 years, graduates like you have been donning gowns just like the ones you are wearing today and participating in graduation ceremonies derived from the deep traditions over those centuries. Macquarie, by comparison, is a relatively young university, almost 50 years old. However, in those almost 50 years, we have come a long way. We now have more than 140,000 alumni spread across 140 countries around the world in their various professions and walks of life. In recent years, this university has been transformed by new facilities, surging excellence in research, as well as growth and diversification of our teaching and learning programs for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. We are a forward-looking university and we are on the move. However, some of the things which we all value so much at Macquarie University will not change. The friendliness of our staff, our commitment to our staff and students. Our visitors notice these elements repeatedly, and their commentary we will ensure continues. Remember, you will always be welcome. Macquarie will always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge and understanding. And in just a few moments, it will be my extraordinary pleasure to confer upon you your degrees and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, I call on Ms. Isabelle Boisvert, who is graduating today with a Doctor of Philosophy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Ms. Boisvert.
Vice-Chancellor, members of the university, fellow graduates, guests, mom and dad that I think we have on Skype now. I feel very honored to speak on behalf of today's graduates. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, by that I mean the French-speaking part of Canada, a young girl in grade 1 was impatiently waiting to cross out all the days of the calendar for school to finish and finally go on vacation. Well, today this girl is graduating, and I often wonder what gave me the motivation to continue for so long. There have been the numerous teachers, supervisors, and mentors who inspired me and taught me that it was okay to think differently. There has also been my parents who never turned me down when I felt the need to ask a million questions, and who also gave much of their time to make sure that I would get more opportunities than what they have had when they were younger. What also kept me going is that somewhere in the line I learned that education is a very powerful tool. Education, if used wisely, can give us better arguments, better confidence, better problem-solving skills, and better credibility in most of the situations you are faced with. And that's pretty fantastic, because there are many things around us that are in need for improvement. Therefore, the skills and the knowledge that we have gained while studying at Macquarie University are exactly what is needed to help and improve our society. Now, some of you might be thinking that really those are just nice words, and that in reality, we can't change the system, right? Well, that's a big, fat lie. The system is waiting for people with your knowledge and skills to continue improving. Today, you're adding some letters to your signature. But what do these letters and the degree that you will receive really mean for you? I tried to have a think and find my personal reasons to be proud of this accomplishment, and I really hope that you can do the same and all be proud of yourself. So for me, this degree not only means that I have been given opportunities, but also that I've been able to recognize and to seize these opportunities. This degree means that some people have believed in me, but most importantly, that I believed in myself. This degree means that I have been able to make sacrifices to bring an important project to completion. This degree means that I have succeeded in writing a book in my second language, something that I would have never thought possible 10 years ago. This degree also means that I was part of a group contributing to the advancement of knowledge. I am sure that you can all find excellent reasons to be proud of yourself. For some of you, it may be because of all the exams that you've passed and all the essays that you've done, or for the friendships that you have developed while studying all night with your peers. This degree, we did not earn it on our own. And let's take a moment to make sure that we thank all the people who helped and supported us. Personally, I want to thank everyone who believed in me, who helped me make sense of my ideas, who pushed me forward, even if sometimes it meant confronting my ideas, and who supported me when I thought it was all too hard, and who went out of their ways to make good things happen. On this point, about people who go out of their way to make good things happen, that's what I respond to anyone who asks me why I chose Macquarie University. And for that, I want to thank more specifically my supervisor, Catherine McMahon, the Department of Linguistics, and also the Faculty of Human Sciences. I also want to thank my husband, who has always been behind me and giving me unconditional support. And today, this is literal. He's now standing behind me for giving me some support, and thank you. Now, before I finish, I want to acknowledge all the brilliant people that are out there in this world who are doing amazing things without having a degree, and also those who did not have the opportunities to undertake their degree. So now to finish, fellow graduates, congratulations. We have worked hard, and let's proudly receive our degrees and add those letters after our names.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to do something very dangerous. To a wonderful speaker coming to receive her degree in linguistics, I'm about to, with rural Australian high school French. Merci beaucoup, Madame Boisvert. Isabel has given us wise advice from the experience of hard work, of the importance of where that leads, in terms of, most importantly, being able to aspire to make a difference. Every single graduate here today can make a difference, and she has reminded us of that. Also of the importance to all of our graduates, of those who have helped them get here, the supervisors, some of whom are here today, the teachers, the professors, but also to the families, the parents. And I'm reminded of the words of Benjamin Disraeli, that the secret of success is the constancy of purpose. And there is surely nothing truer than the constancy of purpose of parents and families in the support of their loved ones to get here today. And the same is also true for all of you who have worked here to get here today, a constancy of purpose. So Isabel, again, thank you very much. Thank you. As Vice-Chancellor of this university, Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring of degrees and diplomas upon those who have complied with the university's requirements for such awards. I now call upon the Deputy Registrar of Macquarie University, Mr. Jonathan Wiley.
Vice-Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees or diplomas please stand?
In the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees and diplomas for which you have qualified. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Science, the Faculty of Human Sciences, the Macquarie Graduate School of Management, and the Faculty of Business and Economics. This ceremony is an occasion for us to bring together graduates from across the university and highlights the broad range of disciplines taught in this university to prepare graduates for careers in today's world. Vice-Chancellor, I call on Professor Clive Baldock, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, to present the graduates and diplomates. Professor Baldock.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Science whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Lachlan Barnes for a thesis entitled Comparative Assessment of the Growth, Reproductive Biology and Life History Characteristics of Coexisting Coastal Flathead. Dr. Anne Lawrence Bibost for a thesis entitled The Development and the Evolution of Brain Lateralization Using Fish as a Model Organism. Dr. Christina Birnbaum for a thesis entitled The Role of Soil Biota in the Invasion Success of Legumes in Australia. Dr. Jessica Jane Boomer for a thesis entitled Molecular Ecology and Conservation Genetics of Mustelus Gummy Shark Rig in Australasia. Dr. Paul Edward Duckett for a thesis entitled The Impacts of Climate Change to an Australian Arid Zone Gecko Species. Dr. Mary Elizabeth Gardner for a thesis entitled Natural Language Processing Methods for Attitudinal Near Synophony. Dr. Nola May Hancock for a thesis entitled The Role of Plant Provenance in Restoration Ecology Under Climate Change. Dr. Annette Kafley for a thesis entitled Latent Variable Models for Global Health-Related Life Quality. Dr. Michael John Majinski for a thesis entitled Proteomics of Adipose-Derived Cells and Secretions, Implications of Renal Failure. Dr. Boyd McGregor Murray for a thesis entitled An Investigation of Quantization Effects in OFDM at Digital IF in High-Capacity Digital Wireless Systems. Dr. Han Wang for a thesis entitled Modeling Vegetation Changes in China. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Chiropractic, Nathan Faulkner. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Environmental Management, Meg J. Lamont. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Geoscience, Christopher Donald Cook, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Siobhan Louise Starr. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Museum Studies. Elizabeth Sylvia May Dwyer. Vincent Anuraga Halim. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Sustainable Development, Zachary Emerson Lambert. I present the diplomat awarded the postgraduate diploma in museum studies, Natalie Megna. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with first-class honours, Martin Simon Kiljick. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with honours, Christopher Hughes. Neil Atish Shankar. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the Bachelor of Arts, Sophia Frances Casbolt. Sandra Rose Cronk. Michelle Mannins. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Giovanna Stojkovic. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Biodiversity and Conservation, Holly Grace Luland. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Chiropractic Science, Natasha Lee Nixon. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of E-Business, Basil Al-Shawa. Ding, ding. Mark Dion Santoso. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environment, Leela Marina Ekbal. Nathan Christopher Nagel. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Health, Tamina Rashid. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, Ashwarya Bedekar. Shi Liang. Ryan Leah. Milan Longcar. William James Mansfield. Jia Yao Zhong. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Marine Science, Christopher Stanley. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Medical Sciences, Yasmina Garibovich. Wiley Mathis. Maria Paula Mempin. Rachel Patfield. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science, Derek Jason Amarasingham. Liam John Borum. Jack Brandy. Yu Wei Dai. Tara Dokic. Christopher Downs. Rebecca Jane Griffiths. Sky May Holloman. Emma Marie Lepage. Robert James McGrath. Lauren Elizabeth Miller. Blaine Colin Merrill Griffith. David Robert Pace Ferro. Anthony Richard Parks. Cameron Andrew Piper. Matthew Lawrence Selby. Shankar Kumar Threshta. Harold Verdine Spedding. Alistair Charles Williams. Zoe Wiley. Vice-Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Science.
Vice-Chancellor, I now call on Professor Janet Greeley, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Human Sciences, to present the graduates from that faculty, the Faculty of Business and Economics, and the Macquarie Graduate School of Management. Professor Greeley.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Mahmoud Abdullah Al-Mahmoud, for a thesis entitled Saudi University Students' Attitudes Toward the Use of Arabic and English, Implications for Language Planning. Dr. Isabelle Boisvert for a thesis entitled Outcomes of Cochlear Implantation in an Auditory Deprived Ear. Dr. Xiaoxiao Chen for a thesis entitled Opening China to the Tourist Gaze, Representations of Chinese People and Languages in Newspaper Travel Writing Since the 1980s. Dr. Atemi Joseph Egoanu for a thesis entitled The Role of Melanin Concentrating Hormone in Central Cardiorespiratory Regulation. Dr. Yi-Chen Lang for a thesis entitled Mother's Ideas About Home-Based English Teaching and Learning for Children Prior to School Age, a study in Tainan, Taiwan. Dr. Thomas Donald Loveday for a thesis entitled Cue Utilization and Expert Performance. Dr. Ninh Van Nguyen for a thesis entitled Linguistic Theory and Translation Practice, the Impact of Thematic Shift on Semantic and Functional Aspects of the Translated Text. Dr. Anna Petrak for a thesis entitled Factors Influencing Breast and Cervical Cancer Control in Ethnically Diverse Groups of Women. Dr. Bethany May Wooten for a thesis entitled An Evaluation of the Acceptability and Efficacy of Remote Treatment for Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Psychology, Clinical Neuropsychology. Dr. Louise Ruby Hunt for a thesis entitled The Effect of Complex Environmental Enrichment on Locomotor, Memory, and Affective Function Following a Dopamine Receptor Antagonism in Adult Rats, with an investigation into a model of early-stage Parkinson's disease in aged rats. Dr. Lauren Rena Mavshovsky for a thesis entitled Neurophysiological Changes Associated with Cognitive Training in Older Adults at Risk for Dementia, Application of the Mismatch Negativity Event-Related Potential. Dr. Karen Lee Wallace for a thesis entitled Increasing Equity of Neuropsychological Services for Chinese Australians, the Chinese Australian Neuropsychological Normative Study, CANS. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Doctor of Psychology, Counseling Psychology. Dr. Rebecca Jane Launder for a thesis entitled Evaluation of a Residential Treatment Program for Young Women with Comorbid Psychological Problems. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Philosophy, Vanessa Juliet Sammons, for a thesis entitled Vascular Targeting Enhancement of Radiosurgery for the Treatment of Brain Arteriovenous Malformations. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Clinical Neuropsychology, Thomas Munro Gates. Alicia Wilcox. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Clinical Psychology, Caroline Martha Dale, who has been awarded the Vice Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Jill McAllister, who has been awarded the Vice Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Helena Teresa Swiatek, who has been awarded the Vice Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Special Education, Erin Leah Tanner. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Teaching, Birth to 5 Years, Shasha Shah. I present the diplomate awarded the postgraduate diploma of Social Health and Counselling, Charles Rahim. I present the diplomate awarded the graduate diploma in education, Kate Lorraine Fern. I present the diplomate awarded the graduate diploma of education, Chun Kit Wong. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Education, Primary, Angela Campbell. Jessica Marie Hall. Elizabeth Slattery. Tracy Yen Tran. Rebecca Grace Walker. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Diploma of Education. Roya Arbabzadi. Jessica Elizabeth Besson. Sarah Louise Campbell. Jasmine Heather Cliff. Andrew Keith Connolly. Peter Fellows. Angelina Fossano. Jessica Louise Francis. Melanie Heddy. Alexander Harvey Morton. Anthony Thomas Joseph Norman. Jeffrey Max Sasenith. Matthew Noel Sells. Brianna Swain. Amanda Jane Tebbett. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the Diploma of Education, Samiksha Maharaj. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Carly Elizabeth Fitzgerald. Tony Nolene Hodges. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology, Catherine Elizabeth Bradley. Ebith Amaya Chidrawi. Lauren Elise Fell. Alicia Jane Grace. Tanushri Joshi. Hannah Rose Copy. Deborah Mary Lumsden. Emma Claire Pendlebury. Alexander Charles Smith. Nicole Amy Soto. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood Education, Birth to 12. Caroline Anderson. Beverly Ethel Cohen. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, Primary, Peter David O'Loughlin. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science, Psychology, James Peter Butterworth. Emma Lauren Kong. Trishana Naidu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Speech and Hearing Sciences, Annabelle White. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Teaching, Birth to 5 years, Danielle Louise Albani. I present graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Accounting Professional, Rochelle Davenport. Vikas Mota. Sanyang Park. Elise Terrazzolo. Hua Susan Yu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Kwan An Hung. I present the graduate from the Macquarie Graduate School of Management, admitted to the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, Dr. Chun Mei Cecily Kwok, for a thesis entitled Implementing Successful Government-to-Business Initiatives in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, an empirical evaluation of government-to-business websites. Vice-Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences, Business and Economics, and the Macquarie Graduate School of Management.
Ladies and gentlemen, that marvellous voice belongs to Ms. Angela Brewer, and I want to thank her for that superb performance. I would invite you to join me in thanking Angela again. Please also join me in thanking our musicians, university organist, Dr. James Forsyth, our trumpeter, Melanie McLaughlin, we are indeed very privileged this afternoon as well to have support and assistance from representatives of our alumni community who have come along to help us on this occasion this afternoon, and I would invite you to thank them as well. It is now my pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Mr. Martin Rogers. Martin Rogers is an investor in startup companies through the hedge fund Lind Partners. He has a depth of experience in incubating companies and publicly listed organisations as well. He has experience in all aspects of financial, strategic and operational management. He has also been both an investor and a senior executive in privately funded advisory business in the science and biotechnology sectors, where he was instrumental in significantly increasing the value of those investments. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Martin Rogers.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished faculty members and graduates of 2013. Graduation speeches challenge us all. They challenge the speakers and who have to present them, and the graduates and their families and friends who want to get on with the real business of photos with parents and do refreshments around this magnificent campus. And what a beautiful day it is today. It is for this reason, no doubt, that the words graduation speeches are linked to many helpful sites on the internet. There's one that lists 103 graduation speeches organised in a hierarchy of merit from 3 through to better, stronger and powerful. Those rated free can be downloaded at no charge. The better, the stronger and the powerful cost between $9.95 and $14.95 each. A free graduation speech picked at random from the list begins with the deathless words, "Today marks the end of an era." There is another site that offers the 10 best graduation speeches ever made. They're of variable quality. One was delivered by the comic actor Will Ferrell from the Harvard class of 2003. He began, "As most of you are probably aware, I didn't graduate from Harvard. In fact, I never even got a call back from admissions." He went on to speak about getting his degree from the School of Hard Knocks under the Dean of Bloody Noses with class notes from Professor Knuckle Sandwich. It was obviously received really well. It's interesting that many speakers at graduation ceremonies, at least in the United States, seem to be actors, singing stars, and sporting heroes. As such, I stand here proudly as a University of New South Wales graduate of a double degree in chemical engineering and science. And today, I'm standing here at the age of 32. I'm very proud at a young age to be successful at incubating a biotech called Prima Biomed on the ASX to a listed S&P 300 company from a market capitalisation of $2 million when I came in there. And it's doing so in medical innovation, which is a real plus. Prima's first target is insidious ovarian cancer. Our solution, if successful, will be incredible innovation on cancer vaccine. We are currently operating in 22 countries with over 100 hospitals utilising the vaccine. Our team of scientists and doctors include Professor Ian Fraser, the inventor of the world's first cancer vaccine for cervical cancer. I wondered what I should say today, and it's a very important day for all the graduates here. And I try to think back and remember who gave the address I received 8 years ago when I graduated. And frankly, I have no memory of what was said. My first thought was to tell you a pearl of wisdom that I saw on those graduation speeches from the internet. But I realised I had a bit more to say than Will Ferrell. So I thought I'd tell you a story about struggles and triumphs, and since I have some engineering training, discuss some bridges. Bridges you know about. Every day people use bridges to cross tracts of water between land, a brilliant invention of our respective communities. Bridges can be thought of as metaphorical, and thinking this way and find things that only your imagination limits. Connecting to people who I thought were unapproachable has been the most successful thing I've done since graduating from university. It was the tenacity of approaching investors such as the New York hedge fund managers, completely unknown to me beforehand. I was in my late 20s. I probably made around 200 investor presentations. Every pitch was pretty much the same. And I had a lot of rejections, particularly since it was the time of the US subprime mortgage crisis and Lehman Brothers had just collapsed. But on the turnaround that made it very successful for them as investors behind our ovarian cancer vaccine, this success was good for my reputation, personally, as graduating students here today. Keep in mind, reputation is very important. I'm not talking about your Facebook reputation. I'm talking about building bridges to investors. I was also approaching scientists and medical professionals to get their support of an idea in an ovarian cancer vaccine, CVAC. And in fact, my job as CEO was to build a bridge between the science and investors in order to create a tangible outcome. Every now and again, a moment will arise for you. The same has happened for me at Prima Biomed. Think about how you take advantage of those situations. When they arise, don't be afraid to take the leap. Career risk is worth taking at a young age, and I know some of you are younger than others here today. I suggest that you cross bridges and build them where you can add value. In general, don't burn bridges. And despite my life experiences, being around academia, where both parents were academics, studying science and chemistry as a young adult myself, and working in the laboratories, I did pursue more academic qualifications. I ended up doing business and being an entrepreneur. It was the time of writing my thesis, Neural Networks for Fischer-Tropsch's Catalyst Design. I still remember that thesis title. I started my first business. It was women's fashion shop in Bondi Beach. Perhaps at the time I was subconsciously trying to meet some bikini-clad girls, which I didn't seem to get many of those at university, and escape the laboratory. The next business I was doing was RSPCA pet insurance, and I just launched that up, and that was very successful. There was certainly no link here. The taste for busy, savvy ideas was right inside me. Ironically, it was this break and bridging to business allowed me to come back into science and important work on medical innovation. That fashion shop and pet insurance had a small financial windfall that allowed me to invest in small companies on the stock exchange. I applied my knowledge of science to back small speculative mining companies and small speculative biotech companies. One thing led to another, and next thing I became the CEO of Prima Biomed at the age of 28 years old. Today I work with a hedge fund investing in startup companies and help with the direction of 4 listed biotech companies. And I've done this by fostering a set of connections built one at a time. The purpose of life, I must conclude, is to build bridges. I would suggest you become a member of the alumni network here at Macquarie and connect to those you wish to emulate. Also, when you make it big, don't forget to give back big. Professor Clive Baldock and Professor Bruce Doughton will no doubt be there to give you, for you to give to Macquarie University, I'm sure. And they're going to make sure you give back big. I met your dean, Professor Clive Baldock, when I joined a board trustee of the Physics Foundation last year at University of Sydney. It was the 50th anniversary of the Professor Harry Messel International Science School. They have impressive alumni, and actually Bruce Doughton told me he was one of those alumni. And almost all of them talk about how the International Science School changed their thinking when they were young, high school students, and today they're successful in all walks of life in science or otherwise. I think I built at least 20 bridges before studying at university, working a small business, then becoming CEO of an S&P ASX 300 company with a potential blockbuster in ovarian cancer vaccine. Today, it is investing back in the innovation space by working on as an incubator. You are the beginning of your journey. Please cross the bridge and go through. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been fortunate this afternoon to hear from Mr. Martin Rogers in the finest tradition of graduation occasional addresses, an address which leaves us with a simple message: to build bridges. Here is a young man, a man of beach, a man of fashion entrepreneurship, a man of science, a man of innovation, a man of hedge funds, an investor, from mines to biotechnology, and a man who has built bridges that affect us all. And as I said earlier on to our graduands then, our graduates now, you can make a difference. Here is an example of a young man who is making a difference to patients across the world through his entrepreneurship and his example, those patients who have ovarian cancer. Mr. Martin Rogers, thank you so much again for being with us today. Graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your relationship with us. For the rest of your lives, you are now part of the larger Macquarie family, our alumni body, and part of a network that spans across the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office, and I hope you will come back to visit us, attend alumni events, undertake more study, or simply to enjoy and visit our beautiful campus. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries a range of responsibilities. I urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, to set ambitious goals for yourselves. You can see what happens when you do set ambitious goals for yourself, and to continue the hard work that has already brought you this far. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering advice and wisdom to those you meet along the journey of life. My hope is that, as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned here not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of your community and society at large. And I also urge you and charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University wherever life leads you. I hope you will always also remember those who have helped you along the way to get here, and many of whom are indeed here today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me. First of all, I'd like all of our new graduates to please stand. Now I would like you to place your testimers on your seats and turn around to face your family and friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. You may now turn around, but please don't sit down yet. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic staff who have supported you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them also. The official party will soon leave the courtyard, followed by the graduates. As we do, graduates, you may not recognise, but Dr. Forsyth will play the music that is traditional for centuries at graduations. An age-old set of Latin lyrics, Gaudeamus Igitur, which speaks in a whimsical way of youth and old age at the same time, of the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, of state and city, and of happiness. Gaudeamus Igitur, therefore let us rejoice, it translates. Guests, I would ask you to now please stand with us and remain standing until the last of the graduates have processed out, and then please join us in the University Court for light refreshments. Again, to the newest graduates of Macquarie University, My warmest congratulations and every best wish for your continued success. Gaudaiamus igitur. Let us therefore rejoice.